Good to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Vice President Joe Biden went to the breadbasket of this election today, Youngstown, Ohio. He delivered a wake-up call to Democrats and middle-class voters. The vice president took Mitt Romney to task for Romney's latest attacks on President Obama's record.
I have great respect for Governor Romney. He's a patriot. He's a generous man. He gives to his church. He has a beautiful family. But he doesn't get it. He doesn't get what's at the core of all of this. It's about people's dignity.
This goes right to the heart of this campaign, don't you think? Workers play a role in business. The middle class plays a big role in this economy if we're going to turn it around. And everybody gets a fair shot, and everybody plays by the same rules. Vice President Joe Biden says Mitt Romney just doesn't see it that way.
Then there's the Romney philosophy, the Romney economics, which says as long as the government helps the guys at the top to do well, workers in small businesses and communities, they can fend for themselves, but the country will be okay if the big guy is doing well. Nobody knows better than the people of the Valley the consequences of that kind of philosophy.
And the consequences are documented pretty well, too. Romney's former company, Bain Capital, bought up manufacturers like GST Steel in Kansas City. The company was $13 million in debt when Bain took over in 1993. What happened? Well, 8 years later, the debt multiplied by 40 times. The company was $533 million in the hole when it went bankrupt. Let's talk about Dade Bearing Medical Supply in Florida. You know, they only lost 850 jobs when Bain Capital took over. The company went bankrupt there as well, but Bain sold $242 million worth of shares before it went under. Vice President Joe Biden laid these facts on the table today. He spoke directly to the part of the country Mitt Romney would hit the hardest, the working class.
I resent when they talk about families like mine that I grew up in. I resent the fact that they think we're talking about envy. It's job envy, it's wealth envy, that we don't dream. My mother believed and my father believed that if I wanted to be president of the United States, I could be vice president. My mother and father believed that if my brother or sister wanted to be a millionaire, they could be a millionaire. My mother and father dreamed as much as any rich guy dreams. Absolutely. They don't get us. They don't get who we are.
You know, people in this country are mad. And Vice President Joe Biden is giving their voice the anger that is being displayed in many corners of this country. Vice President Biden is trying to focus on their rage. He's one of them. The official Twitter account of the vice president put out this message today. In Ohio, 1 in 8 jobs relate to the automobile industry. That's 848,000 Ohioans whose jobs are more secure thanks to President Obama. That cuts to the chase, don't you think? Those numbers are on the money according to the Center for Automotive Research. In fact, automotive jobs account for 12% of Ohio's total workforce. Success in manufacturing has put Ohio ahead of the national average when it comes to employment. Total unemployment in Ohio is 7.5%. President Obama was at a sandwich shop in Virginia today talking about small business tax credits. But Mitt Romney again hammered the president over the national debt. Romney still has not delivered a comprehensive plan for the middle class. He continues to exploit frustration and confuse Americans.
We have got to take, this bull by the horns and wrestle to the ground this extraordinary deficit. It's getting larger and larger. It's hurting job creation now. It's going to crush our kids in the future. We've got to wrestle it down. And so more federal spending is not the right way to go.
Last night, we showed you how most of the national debt is a product of unpaid wars and the Bush tax cuts and handouts to Big Pharma. But Mitt Romney is also wrong to blame President Obama for excessive spending. Here are the numbers. Government spending, taxes, and deficit are all lower today than they were when President Obama took office in 2009. Righties, I know you don't like that, but that is a fact. Mitt Romney hasn't offered any solution to decrease the deficit except for what? More tax cuts? We already know how Romney feels about increasing tax rates, even if it means spending cuts in return.
Say you had a deal, a real spending cuts deal, 10-to-1, as Byron said, spending cuts to tax increases. Speaker, you're already shaking your head. But who on this stage would walk away from that deal? When you raise your hand, if you feel so strongly about not raising taxes, you'd walk away on the 10-to-1 deal.
Romney is portraying himself as the guy who will turn the economy around, but he has no answers. And here's what this guy's trying to do. He's trying to wordsmith his way to the presidency is what he's trying to do. He's coming up with the gimmick conversation, but he doesn't have the devil in the details for the American people, except, of course, tax cuts for the rich. The American people, angry, no question about it. And I think a lot of people in this country are tired of being stereotyped. And Joe Biden today, I think, unleashed what a lot of emotion is being played out in a lot of Americans across this country. It's the right wing that's playing the class warfare business. It's us against them. That's how they are playing the game. And all you have to do is look at their policies, the Ryan plan, and what they really want to do to the middle class in this country and who they want to sacrifice more, the middle class. They have no plan for the middle class. They have no plan for workers in this country. They are attacking labor worse than any other Republican outfit ever has. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question: who understands the needs of the middle class? Text A for President Obama, text B for Mitt Romney to 622-639. And you can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com and leave a comment. We love that. We'd love to hear what you have to say, and we'll bring you the results later on in the show. Now, joining me tonight is the congressman from the breadbasket of this election, Congressman Tim Ryan of Ohio. Great to have you with us.
Good to be with you, Ed.
I'll tell you what, I'm watching Vice President Biden. I'm cranked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen one like that before. Why do you think he did that?
Well, you're right. All reports that I've gotten from phone calls back home from labor leaders and business leaders back home was he was on fire. Someone said it was the best speech they've ever heard a politician ever give. So he was on fire. I think it's the fact that the administration has been treated so unfairly in so many ways. Here you are right miles away from an auto plant, and you have Mitt Romney saying that he would have let the auto industry collapse. Now you're in the backyard of a lot of these auto workers, and they know what has happened, and they know what the difference is between a Romney administration and an Obama administration. They've already benefited from it.
That crowd wanted that today. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, they want someone to fight for them, and I think they're starting to see that this administration has been fighting for them, and it's becoming more apparent that the other side is doing everything they can to try to stop them.
So how does Mitt Romney and the Republicans, how do they compete against that? I mean, everything Vice President Biden said was factual. You see the success in your state, the number of jobs that are affected by the automobile industry. They really believe, the Obama team really believes, this is the heart and soul of the election, Ohio. Can you win Ohio?
No doubt about it. I think when you look at the auto industry, as you just pointed out, 1 of every 8 jobs. If you look at what the president has done on China, which is a big issue in Ohio too, put tariffs on Chinese steel tubing coming into the country, put tariffs on Chinese tires coming into the country, played tough with China, and this has led to a boom in manufacturing, not just in the auto industry, but in the steel industry as well. In our area of the country has led for a couple of quarters manufacturing growth in the entire country. Youngstown, Ohio, and it's been said that we're one of the top 10 best places to start a business. I think what you saw with Biden wasn't just the speech, it was where he was at. He was in an advanced manufacturing facility called M7 in Youngstown, Ohio. It used to be an older manufacturing facility. Mike Garvey and his wife took over, converted it. They're doing metrology now. They're doing 3-dimensional imaging now. It's a great new company, and people realize that's the future.
So where are the Democrats weak in Ohio? What do you have to do? Now, your friend Sherrod Brown, trying to get another term as a senator, they've already thrown $6 million at him.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, it's not even June 1st. I mean, they're throwing money at him like crazy. So is that the weakness? Maybe not being able to match the money? What do you think?
Well, you have these roaming billionaires who want to get involved in these races, whether it's against Sherrod Brown or somebody else. So the bottom line is we've got to be organized. And what's good about Ohio is we've just come off of the collective bargaining campaign last year. And so the coalition of police, fire, teachers, and others, nurses, are all together and ready to do the deal again this year.
Your thoughts on a guy from Ohio, House Speaker John Boehner setting up this fight for the debt ceiling again.
Big mistake. I think it's a big mistake. I think, you know, obviously the generic polls are showing that the Republicans are obstructionists, and I think it would be better for him to sit down with Obama and cut a deal.
But isn't there strategy to do this and let Mitt Romney heckle from the stands, saying that, see, the Democrats aren't serious about cutting the spending?
They think people are stupid. I mean, Obama clearly, and you just showed the clip, not $1 in revenue from Warren Buffett, even if there's $10 in cuts. Obama has been sincere, even to the point of some frustration for many people, that he wants to make a deal. And Boehner's walking right down the same lane he walked down a few months ago.
Tim Ryan, good to have you with us. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen.